Let's bring in Rick Neuheisel. He is the former college coach, and he was at a couple of schools, Washington, Colorado, UCLA, and now a college football analyst for CBS Sports. Rick, where did all the great college football teams go?
Kind of in the same direction that the transfer portal went. As soon as they opened those gates, players were looking for playing time and for compensation, and that's why we don't have a super team.
I guess there has to be a couple of very, very good teams.
Oh, there's some really good teams, and I think both Michigan and Georgia are really good teams. The question is, have they played anybody that the committee is going to say they're the best team?
Help me understand the Harbaugh situation of how that, like the crime itself, and sometimes it's the cover-up that's worse than the crime itself, but where do you think this is headed, and how much of an advantage do you think Michigan has received if this is true?
Based on all that I've kind of gleaned from all the stuff written on it, it's an advantage. I mean, there's no question that that's an advantage. You sit and listen to G. Gordon Stallion's, his read his text and talk about Josh Gaddis, standing there and knowing when the blitzes are coming and what coverage it is. Josh Gaddis, the offensive coordinator in 2021, Dan, was the Frank Broyles Award winner. He was the top assistant coach of the year. And now you put two and two together, you say he goes to Miami in 1 year and is out. He's fired. He doesn't even get to keep his job after 1 year. Yeah. What kind of advantage did he have the year before? Now, that's here. And yet now we're going to wonder how much advantage did he have, right? So these are the kind of things. Here are the things I think are salient points. Number one, Harbaugh gets under everybody's skin. He enjoys it. He's a modern day Eddie Haskell. He wants to be that guy. Number two, the overzealous Stallions kid, right? He's super fan, wanted to be on the staff. That's his dream. They hired him. He didn't go and just keep doing this. They actually put him on staff. And number three, and most important, he's sitting there standing next to the coordinators in photographs and video. You don't stand. I've given field passes my whole life as a head coach. It's kind of like the untold currency. Hey, here's 4 field passes and you guys stay down there and enjoy the game. But you don't get to stand next to me. You don't get to stand next to the coordinator. That guy's standing there next to the Denny's menu right next to these coordinators, and he's not ordering Grand Slam breakfast. He's telling them exactly what's happening on the other side, and that's an advantage. And because of the way Jim needles and gets under people's skin, they're going to come after him.
How does this end?
Oh, I don't think it ends. I think they get through the season, and I think Jim goes off to the NFL if there's an NFL team that will have him. I thought it would be perfect for him to be with the Bears. It kind of fits his personality, but I don't know what his relationship is with Kevin Warren, the former commissioner.
But I wonder, I don't know if you can have a soft landing in the NFL if you have controversy in college. Didn't Terrell Pryor, wasn't he punished? When
the 5-game probation or 5-game suspension that he got from the NCAA was actually Roger Goodell said that those 5 games you had to sit in the NFL too. It's the only time I think in the history that has been the penalty's gone from one to the other.
Talking to Rick Neuheisel, CBS Sports college football analyst. Help me understand what's going on at USC.
Wow, it's coming apart. But here's the good news for the Trojans: they won. They found a way to win. They only have one loss. And here comes a game that's going to get everybody's interest. Now, certainly the Notre Dame game should have gotten everybody's interest. But this is a game with Washington coming to town that the home crowd actually might carry him. I just don't know that Alex Grinch has enough on the defensive side to get it done. And he's all that they have. Alex Grinch is all that they have. A year ago, they lived on the turnover. They were number 1 in the country. This year, coming into a week ago, they were in the minus category. So That's the piece that they just don't have. And it looks like a lot of guys that are kind of free agents. Where's that, that bonding? And that's been the gripe of those who are against the transfer portal and all this free access.
Are we basing Caleb Williams' Heisman Trophy hopes on the Notre Dame result, that now we've just moved on from him? As you said, they've only got one loss. They put up points. They just can't stop anybody. Why is Caleb Williams not on that short list with the Heisman, at least according to DraftKings?
If Caleb Williams ends up getting USC to the conference championship game somehow, some way, they have the 2 losses. Notre Dame's not a conference loss, right? But if they get to the Las Vegas and win that game, Caleb Williams will be right back in that thing, because that's the only way they can do it, is if he's heroic. And he obviously has the goods to be just that.
When Colorado was getting all this national publicity, and I said on the show, what if they lose like the next 4 or 5? Where's everybody going to be with this? Well, they've lost 4 of their last 5. So where are we with Colorado in the national landscape?
My son was in that game. He coaches for UCLA, and he said it was really fun to have the stadium full. So whatever Prime is doing, it's still gathering the momentum that people want to see. He just doesn't have enough players, and it's almost refreshing, Dan. Most coaches can't sit there and say, I don't have enough guys. They just can't do it. Prime absolutely not only does it, but does it, he beats the drum. It's about, we got to get better players. He's going to give his son days off because he got hit so many times. Well, you got to find other ways to do it. Most coaches don't have enough players. They figure out ways to, hide guys or come up with systems that don't put guys in positions where they're going to be exposed as not talented enough. So that's the marching orders for the coordinators there at Colorado.
What's it like to be on the field and they storm the field, whether you've won the game or lost the game as a coach?
Well, if you've won the game, it's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, just because everybody's coming up and it's backslapping heaven, right? Way to go, coach. That's a terrific deal. If you've lost the game, you just want to get the heck out of there, because usually people are coming by saying things that are less fun to hear. You just want to, and you want your play. And really what you do is you got your eyes out to make sure your players aren't getting involved in anything that's going to be a problem for them. So you're just trying to get your guys off the field. Well, but listen, as a college football fan, which I count myself in that number as much as I count myself in any category of college football, if we could do it in an organized way and know that everybody's going to get out of there healthy, it's the greatest thing in the world, those crowd stories. Watching that thing in Kansas with the Oklahoma game, and then the goalpost to go to Potter Lake, which looked like a nuclear waste site. If some of those kids were glowing in the Halloween party that night, you'll have to forgive them.
What was the worst situation you were ever in? Worst loss that you had where they stormed the field?
I guess maybe in Nebraska in '96. Colorado went there, and the winner was going to play in the Big 12 championship game. Nebraska won. They ended up losing to Texas, and and that was the year Steve Spurrier won his national championship. I think that because it was such a heartbreaking loss, we lost, I think, 17-12. And it's just one of those games where we had chances down there, should have kicked field goals. So and Nebraska, the nicest fans in the world. They didn't make me feel like it was danger. Hey, nice game, coach. Safe travels.
Sorry about the loss.
You done any Christmas shopping yet, coach?
You're going to have plenty of time now, coach.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Great to talk to you, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Always a blast, Dan. Take care, buddy.
That's Rick Neuheisel. Yeah, the Michigan situation with Jim Harbaugh. But I don't think it's that easy that if all of a sudden season's over, no matter what happens, and Michigan moves on or he wants to move on, I don't think you can just make that transition into the NFL with pending allegations against you. Terrell Pryor, with the whole tattoo situation at Ohio State, he had to carry that suspension into the NFL. I don't know if there are any other cases of that.